So we are at Marcus, hold my hand. We're at Bruma right now. We're here on the north end of the valley, Valle de Guadalupe. Look at the views behind us. It's amazing. Marcus, how much elevation have we climbed?
So it is up a little bit because you're climbing to the top of the tasting room. What you're looking at right here is actually the top of the tasting room, the ceiling. That's a 400-year-old oak tree or so that they got off the property. It was dying, dead. And that water right there is actually an insulation barrier to the tasting room. So we're actually standing on top of the official tasting room. The glass windows you see right there are the VIP tasting room, which is where we go to taste wine today and there with winemaker Lulu, the famous Lulu, who has come to the valley originally from Ensenada, went to France, learned how to make wine, worked at a very famous chateau there in Margaux, and came back to Mexico, to this region here, and has taken on several projects since she's been back. She is the winemaker here and consults at other places. Yes, this is Rattlesnake Land. We've been here several times throughout the valley, and I've not seen one yet. So now we're walking to the back side of the tasting room, which is actually to the entrance. So we go down a little bit so we can walk to the main door of the tasting room. This is probably one of the most iconic tasting rooms here in the valley. A lot of famous people come here. We just missed Mel Gibson the time we were here before, just missed him by a day or so. And it's the way that's set up. Bruma is owned by 8 different friends from Mexico City. Bruma actually translates into wind. The wind that actually comes off of the Pacific Ocean that comes into the valley is called the Bruma. Bruma, this winery, sits on the very north end of the valley on the way into Tecate, not far from Tecate. There's our tasting room right there, the VIP room. You can look out at the oak tree again out there. And this is where we're going to sit down to do our tasting. Lulu's going to join us, and so is the importer Tom, who is the Mexican wine expert here in the United States, Tom Bracamontes. And they're going to join us here for this beautiful view, a lot of great wine, and a lot of great laughs. The conversations we have with Lulu here are very, very intense. She's a very passionate winemaker. She knows what she's doing, and she's very well respected. So there's a lot Lulu has to say.
Jesus, like I can tell you which ones are which.
That'd be great. Yeah.
So first of all, you're gonna have some olive oil from the trees around here in the property, pressed here. Also some bread from the region, and in the case of the cheeses, the ones that are these ones. This, for example, is it's a cheese, but it's a goat cheese.
Oh, nice.
So it's got almond in it, and this one has pistachio. They're made out in Mexico here in this case, southern Mexico. And if you would have a style of a camembert kind of cheese, but also made in Querétaro in this case. And at the very last, with the triangle cheese, we have cow milk cheese and Parmigiano Reggiano style of procedure with the cheese, but made
Ask the question again, Jim.
What's the one thing you would want people to know about wine?
It's very corny. My answer is going to be
That's
very
okay,
corny,
that's good.
but it's the truth. My dad once told me if the most important thing about someone is if they like wine or not. If they like wine, it's people that enjoy living. They're gonna love food, friends, music, culture, and life. So if whenever you get married, honey, just choose a man that likes wine, because that's a good man. And what I've learned now working in wine is that the best thing about my job is this, is what wine induces you to. The talk that you have, the food that you have, the moment that you share. It's not about what you have in the glass, it's what it makes happen around you.
It's the sun that's making me cry.
It's true, no? The sun's making me
cry. The sun's making me cry.
But it's true, 100%. And
that's why
That's
we
why the
love
French
what we
are
do,
winning,
right?
huh?
We love the wine trips. We love the friends, the people, the relationships that we've built over the last 18 years. We absolutely love that.
The other day I looked at our wine rack the other day, and I looked and I said every bottle on that shelf represents a story.
And we've been
of this a room
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
Every bottle on our list represents a story.
And that's the important thing, you know,
Yeah.
that's wine makes things happen, you know, and conversations and moments, and that's the best thing about wine.
Especially rosé.
And I think you agree with that. I mean, in Mexico, that's very.
I'm waiting for him to stop recording.
And then the whites are all about flowers, and then the aromas that we have in the valley, and then the red is about the animals that we have in the valley. So every label has kind of its
Okay.
favorites. Denser
A
color.
little
So
more
the
color.
rosé is amazing, but in the glass, it's tough. You know, it's like barely rosé.
Ooh, I love it.
I love that, right?
Oh, wow.
This is delicious.
The thing, and what you
Wow,
just
I
touched
love
on
that
is
one.
that not prior to Lulu coming back, but there was a big movement where people were going for the high
Like
sugars.
that?
When you do that, your acids fall, your acidity, your pH is fall. So people were playing around with tartaric acid to re-acidify the wines. And that was the way wines were made here. Get the sugars, get big alcohols, and then we'll throw some more tartaric acid to give it that
love that
freshness,
one.
right? Lulu came back, started picking 6 to 8 weeks before everybody else. They thought she was nuts until they taste these fresh, yeah, which you are, yeah.
So not because of that.
But this is, okay, so without putting you on the spot, though, you kind of brought this style forward.
Yeah, which is really cool because we did have all of our rosés very kind of bougainvillea colored rosés and very tannic and very sweet, and they were kind of strawberry jamish, and you know I hate eating with strawberry jam. So now we're all making. A lot of people are making softer, more elegant, more subtle, more acidic rosés. Guess what? That's what a rosé has.
I'm gonna be able to drink rosé with my buddies just because I'll be like, listen,
Right?
I was in the Valle de Guadalupe.
And
I learned all about it.
I drank.
Try it out, fellas.
Right from the
Yeah, you
tank.
gotta try it.
Also, the alcohols tend to be a lot lower.
Oh, it is.
You're able, I mean,
You can drink
this
it.
is
You can
good.
drink it every day. I mean, that's how I look at it, any season, because it has a lot of red characteristics, but white characteristics too, so it's a nice common. I love rosé.
This is an
I drink rosé all the time.
11.8% alcohol wine.
I love it.
If anybody wonders where 20 cases disappear a year, it's my mother.
Really?
It's like, she's like the biggest fangirl of
Yeah, no, that's
Lulu.
yummy.
It's like, Mijo, just grab another bottle of that rosé. That's my favorite. Or just, okay, mom, whatever you want.
What's really funny in Mexico, of course, we're very macho, right? So
How do
men
you
are
sell
like,
it? How do
oh,
you sell it?
rosé is
Right.
like for girls or for my wife or and I love these like really Mexican, you know,
Yeah.
that are like 60, 50-year-old, very traditional, and they're like, I love your rosé. That's like the biggest compliment.
That's because the young girls like the rosé, which means all the old guys like the rosé.
You get along with the young girls.
in a subtle way than when you age it. So I don't age with oak, I ferment with oak, with new states of French oak, and this is the result. It does have just, you know, a little bit of them, so you have this kind of sweet tannin in there, but it's not vanilla, cocoa, it's not too intense, so it adds a little bit of depth to the wine, but it doesn't take anything out of the juiciness of the Nebbiolo. So I am a huge fan. I'd much rather vinify or ferment with new staves than use old barrels to age wines in. So I think this is the way that, you know,
What
it'll
constitutes an old barrel?
go. 3-4 use.
3-4
barrels,
uses.
But a stave is just the wood.
yeah. It's just the
Just the-
before
yeah.
actually building the barrel,
barrel,
but
right.
it's new.
But it's been toasted and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, are they using in wine? Are they using like the square?
Cement?
No. So, like in the brewery business, when they're making sours and things like that now, they'll build a wood instead of a barrel. It's harder to ferment in a barrel because of the shape, from what
Yeah.
I understand.
Because you can't put the
Yeah.
grapes in.
Yeah, and so they'll use these. They build a box on those, or they'll just filter through the oak
Okay. I just put the staves in the actual tank.
in the tank.
there's chains that you can
Yeah.
put in the barrel so you keep the staves down.
Gotcha.
Or cheesecloths.
Cheesecloth,
Huge.
yeah.
It's not actually cheesecloths, but it's
Yeah.
huge cheesecloths that you, when you close the door of the barrel, you kind
It's
of
connected, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much
Some
do you
of the
hate
stuff-
old barrels?
I completely
You
hate
should
them.
be more expressive.
I know. Tell us what you really think. No, it's
Because it
just
is.
that I feel people are like proud of it,
Yeah.
and I just don't get it. Like, why
Why
would
do you
be
think?
proud?
Why do you think they're proud of it? Is it because it's a barrel? Because it's a barrel. It
Aging.
doesn't matter in how old it is. It's a barrel.
Because it's aging in
it's a-
barrel.
Right.
But why would I want to age in a barrel that has served 5 different vintages or 4 different vintages with God knows what bacteria or yeast? The pores start of the wood start being clogged with tartaric acid,
Yeah,
with
everything.
skins, with
Yeah.
bacteria, with everything. So why would you rather use that than a perfectly healthy, clean, new stave in a tank? It's very psychological.
Yeah.
It's just because barrel
They romanced
aging
it.
seems romantic,
Yeah.
seems upscale,
Yeah.
which is not. I only use.
It was marketed.
I only use barrels that are new for our Ocho, which is our premium wine, or 1 year old, and then they're out, and that's it. I wouldn't use them in our Plan B or another wine, because then I don't understand what value it makes, and I don't know if you've tried.
Because of those pictures of all the barrels, and because it's what what we think it should be, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've tried wines that seem very dry. They have like this very dry, astringent, non-balanced tannins. That's old barrels. After 3-4, you can talk to a cooper. After 3-4 years, the tannins become very harsh. Why would I want
I
that?
wonder why you upset so many people on it.
Oh, you have your opinion, right?
I'm very
And
opinion.
you're well.
She has
listen,
my opinion, your
no,
opinion.
I'm
her
married to an opinion guy, so it's all good.
Who's got
I
an
totally understand.
Who's got opinions for all of us?
I always have to try to tone it down, but I can't.
Yeah, that's.
You don't need to though, because that's what makes you successful at what you're.
Oh,
you're
you should see
doing,
her
right?
meetings
And
though. It's so much fun.
Okay, tell me the same thing now. I got to do this on video.
What?
And I don't need to tone things down.
No, but I'm not married to her. I'm not married to her. I don't have to go home and listen to everybody bitch about my husband to me. Right? Like, okay. There you go, honey. That's the answer.
I can edit that so it's going to flow better.
Of course it will. Everybody wants him to be mayor in our town.